Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Mr. Tsomokos, we are here in Olympia Forum with the ambassador, German ambassador, Mr. Reichel, and I welcome you.
Good afternoon.
So, negotiations for a new government continues in Germany, but we still seem to be far from an agreement. Do you think this will happen soon, or will something similar to the last election in 2017, when it took about 5 months to form a government, happen?
Well, if you remember, in 2017, the first round of coalition negotiations failed, and they had to restart from scratch in a different combination of parties. This is unlikely to happen this time, and the three parties who are currently negotiating are pretty optimistic about the prospects of coming to a full agreement. So my bet would be that we are likely to have a new government by Christmas. It won't be faster, I'm afraid, because in Germany we have the custom of negotiating extensive coalition agreements. So this work on the texts and the negotiations about them takes some time.
The Liberal Party claims the Ministry of Finance and criticizes the high borrowing in Germany and Europe. Do you think that the issue of public debt will be back on the European agenda with the new government?
I think it is practically inevitable that public debt will be a major topic in European discussions in the years to come. But no, that is not because of whoever he or she, the German finance minister, is going to be. Of course, you know, we all in the European Union cushioned the blow from the pandemic by extensive public spending. And as we return to normal in our lives and they are getting over the pandemic, in the same way we need to get back to normalcy in public spending in our countries. I think that's well recognized everywhere. Only so the discussion, we will all have to get used to not having the easy access to money that we used to have, and we also can't rely on it that for years to come we will have the extremely low interest rates that we are currently enjoying. So I think it is anyway, whoever becomes the German finance minister, this is going to be a major issue. And then secondly, I would say whoever becomes finance minister in Germany, he or she will not be able to execute the individual party positions of his party or her. Because, as I said, we have these big coalition agreements, and then anyway, the likely next chancellor is Olaf Scholz, and he's currently finance minister, so he knows the issues very well, and I guess he still takes interest.
Let's see, we're waiting with very interesting, here in Greece. We know that we have a good cooperation, so it's very interesting to us, which is the new government. How can Germany contribute to the effort for a common European foreign policy and defense?
Well, actually, Germany has always been quite forward-leaning on EU treaty changes in the area of foreign policy and defense. But you realize that both foreign policy and defense are the holy grail of national sovereignty. And so it is for many countries in the European Union, it is difficult to give up sovereignty in particularly these areas. So also there are quite a few countries in the EU which are afraid that if you develop European defense and foreign policy further, you weaken the transatlantic link that works through NATO. So these discussions are not over for sure, and so I think even though Germany is more on the proactive side as reform in this area is concerned, I'm not very optimistic that we will have major steps forward in the next year or so.
Can we expect a change in the German government's attitude toward Turkey? For example, the Green Party, which will obviously be part of the new government, has on several occasions expressed strong criticism of Turkey.
Mm-hmm. Well, here the same applies as before when we spoke about the finance minister. No individual party in the three-party coalition can sort of execute its positions without compromise. So I wouldn't expect major disruption of the way Germany has been interacting with Turkey. By the way, I have to say, I'm always a little bit puzzled, since I'm here in Greece, with the overemphasis, as I feel, about the tonality of public statements. I mean, I can assure you that the German leadership has been, and I'm sure will be, pretty clear-eyed about what there is to criticize about Turkey. And there are quite a few issues, not only those which relate to Greece. But we use a diplomatic way of conveying these messages. If you followed the visit by Chancellor Merkel to Istanbul a few days ago, you will have noticed that also even in the press meeting they had, they discussed their differences, and Chancellor Merkel was pretty clear, but she said that in a friendly, non-confrontative manner. This is the tradition of German diplomacy, I would say, and the same goes for other difficult countries we have to deal with. Don't mistake diplomatic language for lack of clarity.
On the refugee issue, the German government, like the Commission, is trying to convince other European countries of a fair distribution of refugees, but so far without success. Do you think the next government will stick to this effort?
Yes, I'm quite sure. Actually, I think on migration and refugee issues, the next government is likely to be more pro-immigration and more quote-unquote left than the current government is. And that will likely mean that there will be an even stronger emphasis on European solidarity. But on the other hand, also more of an emphasis on the humanitarian side of the problem, including, for instance, when it comes to border control. So I think, but we will see. Again, nothing dramatic is likely to happen because the name of the game is compromise in a three-party coalition.
It seems that President Macron is now taking center stage and is aggressively taking on a leading role within the European family. How do you see German-French relations and France's role in Europe in the post-Merkel era?
Well, I have to be honest with you. Ever since have been following the European Union, there have always been discussions one way or the other, who is the leader and who isn't the leader. The truth is, the European Union does not have one leader. Neither was Chancellor Merkel ever the leader of the European Union, nor anybody else is likely to become the one leader of the European Union. That's not the way the European Union functions, and if there were any attempt by any country to have the leadership role, then the others would not agree with that. So, as for German-French relations, they are extremely good and stable. We have a really close partnership, and Olaf Scholz, the likely future chancellor, he has excellent relations in Paris. He knows all his current and future interlocutors very well, and I have no doubt that they will get along very well.
Thank you, Ambassador, for this interesting question, and thank you all for attending this conversation.
Thank you very much.